Hi, I'm Amanda. 2 months ago, I was knee-deep in wedding planning with my fiancé, Derek. We'd been together for 6 years, and finally, we were tying the knot at the Lakeview Gardens, a venue we'd booked a year in advance. Babe, did you call the venue about the final payment? Derek asked, scrolling through his phone as we lounged on our couch. I'm calling them tomorrow. Mom wanted to meet with me first to discuss some last-minute details, I replied, checking my calendar. Derek glanced up, his brow furrowed. Your mom's been acting weird lately. Have you noticed? What do you mean weird? When I mentioned the wedding at dinner last Sunday, she changed the subject really fast, he said, putting his phone down. And your sister kept giving her these looks. I shrugged. Probably just wedding stress. You know how she gets. If you say so, Derek mumbled, unconvinced. The next day, I met my wedding planner, Vanessa, at our favorite coffee shop. She was unusually quiet when I arrived, clutching her tablet like it contained nuclear codes. Okay, what's wrong? I asked, sliding into the chair across from her. You look like someone died. Vanessa bit her lip. I got a call from Lakeview Gardens this morning. About what? I'm calling them after this. Amanda, she interrupted, reaching for my hand. Your wedding venue has been canceled. I laughed. Very funny. We've had that booked for a year. I'm serious, she said, turning her tablet toward me. They received cancellation paperwork 3 days ago, signed by your mother. That's impossible, I said, grabbing the tablet. There it was, my mother's signature on the cancellation form. There has to be a mistake. It gets worse, Vanessa continued, swiping to another screen. The date is still booked, but now it's for a Sweet 16 celebration for Lily Parker. Lily, my sister, that's... I stopped, remembering my sister's birthday was next month. This can't be happening. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. Sorry about your wedding venue, but OMG Mom and Dad are throwing me the best Sweet 16 ever at Lakeview. I need to call the venue, I said, my hands shaking as I dialed. Marcus, the venue manager, confirmed everything. Mrs. Parker said plans had changed and that she'd informed you. She paid the cancellation fee and rebooked the date for a birthday party. She had no right, I said, my voice cracking. The contract was in my name. Actually, Marcus hesitated. You authorized your parents as contact persons who could make changes. It's on the original paperwork. My mind flashed back to the day we signed. Mom had insisted, just in case you're too busy with work, honey. Can we fight this? I asked Vanessa after hanging up. She shook her head. Legally, they were authorized. But Amanda, this is seriously messed up. My phone rang. My mother calling. I answered, putting it on speaker. Amanda, dear, we need to talk about the wedding, she said cheerfully. You canceled my venue, I stated flatly. A pause. Now don't be dramatic. We found you a lovely alternative. You canceled my venue for Lily's birthday party? My voice rose despite the public setting. Sweetie, Lily only turned 16 once. You can get married any time, she explained as if discussing the weather. We found you a nice community center that's much more affordable. I paid for that venue myself, I said through gritted teeth. Actually, your father and I put down the deposit, remember? So technically, I paid you back 3 months ago. Another pause. Well, what's done is done. Lily's invitations are already out. I'm sure Derek will understand. I hung up, staring at Vanessa in disbelief. What are you going to do? She asked. I took a deep breath. First, I'm going to find out exactly what happened. Then, I'm going to make sure my parents never forget what they did. I don't believe this, Derek said, pacing our apartment. Your parents canceled our wedding venue for a Sweet 16 party? I've been calling other venues all afternoon. Everything's booked, I told him, running a hand through my hair. My brother Jason arrived, looking uncomfortable. Hey, I heard about what Mom and Dad did. That's messed up even for them. Did you know they were planning this? Derek asked him. Not until yesterday when Mom was bragging about scoring the perfect venue for Lily's party, Jason explained. She said your wedding was being rescheduled for something more suitable. More suitable? I repeated. What does that even mean? Lily's been whining about having her party at Lakeview ever since you booked it, Jason said. All her rich friends' parents have thrown parties there. Vanessa arrived with Marcus from the venue. He brought copies of all the paperwork, including the cancellation form where Mom had written bride's request due to change of plans. She lied, Derek said, his jaw tight. I do have the recorded call where she made the cancellation, Marcus told us. She specifically mentioned replacing a wedding with her daughter's birthday because, and I quote, weddings are a dime a dozen, but sweet 16s are special. My friend Zoe called. Amanda, what's this I hear about your wedding being moved to the community center? Your mom called my mom asking for help setting up folding chairs. There is no ceremony at the community center, I said firmly. Mom canceled our venue without our knowledge or consent. What are you going to do? Zoe asked. I looked at Derek, Jason, and Vanessa. I'm going to confront them. Tonight. I'm coming with you, Derek said immediately. Me too, Jason added. They need to hear how messed up this is from all of us. That evening, Derek, Jason, and I arrived at my parents' house. Through the window, I could see Lily dancing around the living room. Ready? Derek squeezed my hand. As I'll ever be, I replied, clutching the folder Vanessa had prepared. Dad answered the door, his smile fading when he saw our expressions. Amanda, we were just about to call you about the new venue arrangements. Save it, Dad, I said, pushing past him. Where's Mom? Mom appeared from the kitchen. Amanda, perfect timing. I found a lovely gazebo at the park that's available for your ceremony. A gazebo? I stared at her in disbelief. Our wedding is in 6 weeks and you're suggesting a public park? It's very romantic, she insisted, and much more your style than that flashy Lakeview place. Lily bounced into the room. Amanda, did you hear? I'm having my party at Lakeview. All my friends are so jealous. Lily, Jason warned. Not now. Why not? She pouted. It's not my fault Amanda's wedding wasn't as important. The room went silent. What did you just say? I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. Well, it's true, Mom interjected. Lily only gets one sweet 16, but you and Derek can get married anytime. We're just shifting priorities. Shifting priorities? Derek echoed. We've been planning this wedding for a year. And paying for most of it ourselves, I added. Dad waved dismissively. We put down the deposit. Which I repaid you, I countered, pulling out bank statements from my folder. 3 months ago. Well, that was more of a gift than a repayment, Mom said, avoiding my eyes. A gift? You demanded I pay you back. I laughed humorlessly. Said I needed to take financial responsibility for my choices. Let's all calm down, Dad suggested. What's done is done. Lily's invitations are out. I don't care about Lily's invitations, I exploded. You canceled my wedding venue. I pulled out the recording device and played Marcus's call with my mother. Her voice filled the room. Yes, we're canceling the wedding. My younger daughter's sweet 16 is much more important than some wedding. They can get married anywhere. Mom's face reddened. You recorded me? That's illegal? The venue records all calls, Derek explained coldly. Standard practice. We've also got copies of all the contracts, I continued, and evidence that you fraudulently claimed I requested the cancellation. Fraudulently? Dad spluttered. We are your parents. Parents don't sabotage their children's weddings, Jason said quietly. We didn't sabotage anything, Mom insisted. We're relocating it to somewhere more appropriate for your situation. My situation? I repeated. What's that supposed to mean? Mom glanced at Derek. Well, dear, let's be honest. Lakeview is for certain types of weddings, more upscale ones. Derek's jaw tightened. Because I'm not upscale enough for your family? You're blowing this out of proportion, Dad insisted. We're offering alternatives. 6 weeks before the wedding, I shouted. All our vendors were coordinated with Lakeview. Well, maybe this is a sign you should postpone, Mom suggested. Take more time to consider if this is really what you want. What I want is for my parents to support my happiness. We do support you, Dad said, but sometimes parents know best. I jerked away. Don't touch me. You've lost that right. I pulled out my phone. I just canceled everything. What are you talking about? Mom asked, suddenly uncertain. The DJ you hired for Lily's party? Canceled. The caterer? Canceled. The decorations, the cake, the photographer, all canceled? You can't do that, Lily shrieked. Actually, I can, I replied calmly. Because you used my accounts and my name to book them, just like I used your credit card to pay the cancellation fees. That's theft, Dad yelled, his face turning purple. No, it's justice, Derek replied. The venue's rebooking fee just hit your card, too. Dad lunged forward, grabbing my folder. Give me those recordings. Derek stepped between us. Back off, now. Or what? Dad sneered, shoving Derek hard enough to make him stumble. Jason pulled out his phone. That's assault. I've got it recorded. Want to try for more charges? Dad froze. Get out of my house, all of you. Gladly, I replied. And Mom? Don't expect an invitation to the wedding. It's still happening, just not with any of you there. 3 weeks later, I sat with our attorney, Sophie, reviewing paperwork. So they're actually suing us? Derek asked incredulously. Sophie nodded. For emotional distress and financial damages? But don't worry, their case has more holes than Swiss cheese. I can't believe they're doubling down, Jason said, shaking his head. People hate admitting they're wrong, Sophie replied, especially when they've been publicly embarrassed. After our confrontation, Lily had thrown a tantrum on social media, explaining what happened, from her perspective. It hadn't taken long for friends and family to piece together the truth. The countersuit is solid, Sophie continued. We have the recorded call where your mother explicitly lied about the cancellation. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. We need to talk. This has gone too far. Later that afternoon, I met my parents at a quiet cafe downtown. They looked tired, defeated. Amanda, Mom began immediately. This has gotten out of hand. We're family. We should be able to work this out without lawyers. You're suing me, I reminded her. That was your choice. We made a mistake, Mom admitted reluctantly. We should have discussed it with you first. A mistake? You deliberately chose Lily's party over my wedding. We thought you'd understand, Dad insisted. Family comes first. Exactly, I interrupted. Family should come first. But clearly, I'm not the family member who matters. Mom reached for my hand. Sweetheart, we love you. We were just trying to make everyone happy. I pulled away. No, you were trying to make Lily happy at my expense. Like always. Look, Mom said finally. We want to make this right. We'll drop the lawsuit. We'll help pay for a new venue. Whatever you want. What I want is for you to acknowledge what you did and why you did it. We've apologized, Dad began. No, you haven't, I cut him off. You've made excuses. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We're sorry, Amanda. Truly. For what exactly? I pressed. For canceling your venue without discussing it with you. And for prioritizing Lily's party over your wedding, Dad added reluctantly. I nodded. Thank you for acknowledging that at least. So we can put this behind us? Mom asked hopefully. The lawsuit stays, I said firmly. You made your choice. Now you deal with the fallout. What about your sister? Mom asked desperately. She's devastated. So was I replied. Funny how that only matters when it's Lily's feelings on the line. You're throwing away your family over a venue? Dad demanded. No, I corrected him. I'm establishing boundaries with people who've shown they don't respect me or my choices. 2 months later, Derek and I were married at a beautiful vineyard. Jason was our best man. Vanessa had worked miracles with the planning. My parents and Lily weren't invited. The lawsuit settled out of court. My parents paid for all our fees, our new venue in full, and additional damages. Part of the settlement included a formal written apology they were required to share with extended family. No regrets? Derek asked as we danced at our reception. I looked around at our gathered friends. Not one. Some people don't deserve second chances. Later, as we cut our cake, my phone buzzed with a text from my mother. We miss you. Please reconsider. I turned off my phone and smiled at my husband. Some bridges, I told him, are meant to stay burned. To new beginnings, he said, raising his glass. I clinked mine against it. And to consequences. Have you ever had to cut toxic family members out of your life? What were your experiences? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself.